What is up, YouTube? Tapeworm here, and today we're gonna go over my gear. So let's get right into it. The pack itself is made by Yar.gear, and this is a guy out of Tennessee that hand makes all of this. He's got packs, he's got fannies, etc., little wallets and whatnot. It's made out of Zpacks. Stitching on it is superb, and it's also got a Dyneema patch on the face of the actual backpack. And let's go ahead and get these things out here. The pack itself weighs 1 pound, and let's start off with my big three. For my sleep system, I have a Feathered Friends 10-degree sleeping bag, and that's a mummy. I tend to be a fairly cold sleeper, and I like to just have something that if I'm wet, it's snowing, whatever major crazy condition, I can hop in this baby and I'm gonna be toasty and get good sleep. Feathered Friends is a great company. They've been around since 1972. A lot of sleeping bag manufacturers, they advertise as anti-snag zipper. Now, if you see on the Feathered Friends anti-snag zipper, there is actually a plastic guard on the actual zipper mechanism, and on the inside flap, about an inch or so, this is all a more hardened ripstop nylon. So no matter what, I mean, you could be closed eyes, whatever, wake up, not have any issues of snagging that on the side. That was a big issue I had with Zpacks. Zpacks, I will say, makes garbage sleeping bags. Just gonna be completely honest, a lot of hikers kind of sugarcoat ultralight gear, and that could be because they're getting discounted gear or getting it for free. So again, this is a highly recommended company, Feathered Friends. This is 2 pounds, 1 ounce. It is a 10-degree mummy, so of course I could cut weight if I got a quilt, but this is great. I've used it the whole CDT just about, and it can go another 2-3 hikes. And for my sleeping pad, I just use 10 squares, roughly a torso length, Thermarest Z-Lite. I got this out of a hiker box off the AZT, cut some squares off it, good to go. You know, at first, when I got into through hiking, you couldn't tell me to get rid of my blow up sleeping pad, but it's really just a matter of finding your comfort and uncomfort. And the torso pad I am quite used to. I get better sleep, honestly, on my sleeping pad in a tent than I do a bed or a hotel. But it just takes getting used to. So if you want to be minimal, want to get that pack lighter, just go with 10 squares of any Thermarest, Nemo, what have you. The tent, I got an Altaplex. I believe this is 15 ounces, and this is the Altaplex. It's made by Zpacks. It's an expensive ultralight tent. However, it is worth it. I used this for about over 2,000 miles. The stitching on it was subpar. It was completely hack job, to be honest, at first, and I got a replacement, and the stitching on this one's a little bit better. But my first Altaplex, the stitching looked like the guy was fucking nodding out, came into work stoned, and was just, I mean, putting shit together completely hack job. And it's not something I want to be receiving after I paid such a large amount of money for this ultralight gear. And Zpacks, I will say, holds their authenticity and their craftsmanship of the manufacturer who's making it. I mean, keep in mind, Florida minimum wage, I think it's 12 bucks. Come January 2022, it will be 15. I myself wouldn't have too much pride making a tent that my boss is selling for over $500, and I'm getting paid 12 bucks an hour. So it is what it is. Great tent. I'm 6'4". This is the only tent that will work for me that I have found, but I do cowboy camp a lot, and if it's raining, snowing, real windy, I'll send this this baby up. As far as base layers and extra clothes, I rock HOKAs. HOKAs have a 30-day guarantee. If you have any of the lugs that are popping, the mesh creasing and ripping, hit them up. They will cover their manufacturer warranty. These are the ATR Challengers. I believe these have a 4 to 6 millimeter lift, but I do recommend the Speed Goats, and HOKA did just come out with the HOKA Speed Goat 5. Only difference in the 5 compared to the Speed Goat 4s, as far as what I've read, is it's a more durable shoe. It's lighter. It will have a 4 millimeter lift. So if you have high arch feet or mid to high arch feet, I recommend HOKA. If you have flat-footed feet, I recommend Topo, Ultra, and a lot of people have a misconception on what kind of shoe they should be rocking. So I'll post another video in the future, break down shoes, low arch, high arch, and get into a fashion workshop as well. For socks, I wear the Injinji Trailblazers. As a thru hiker, Injinji will send you a replacement pair if you have any rips. I typically don't keep trimming my toenails from week to week, day to day. If you don't do so, the toenail just gets long enough to basically rip and create a crease at the toenail section of the sock. So that tends to happen with these Injinjis. However, when you're a thru hiker and you let Injinji know, email their customer care support, send them a picture, the size, make of the sock, let them know what trail you're on, and they will send you a replacement pair for free. Darn Tough and Smart Wool also do that. So it's just a little pointer to keep an eye out. If you do have any rips, tears, hit up the manufacturer, have them send you a replacement. A lot of this gear is not cheap. Being a thru hiker, I'm personally not made of money. I gotta work for my budget, and you know, it is what it is. I tend to contact manufacturers, and it's not finessing. It's just simply, you know, I think as a thru hiker, we hold the best knowledge for a field test for gear as far as durability and the authenticity of the product. So contact the manufacturer, get that taken care of. Next piece of gear would be my fleece. This is a 5-ounce fleece made by KUIU or KUIU. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. It's a hunting company. I fucking love this fleece. I hike with it. It breathes really well. I use this as a top base layer for those chilly nights when I go to sleep. I don't have my Smart Wools with me, but I do carry an extra pair of either Darn Tough or Smart Wools for my nighttime socks. I do not hike in them unless I have to. Great piece of gear. I recommend this fleece. It comes in many different colors and prints. I got the desert camo because it was all that was left when I went to purchase it. Great fleece. The only wear and tear I've had is just a minor sleeve that ripped right here, just due to my own roughness and a lack of taking care of it. And I'm just gonna sew that up and use it. So good to go. As far as a base layer, I do have a pair of 90s Patagonia bottoms that weigh 6 ounces. However, this was a little bit more lightweight. This weighs 5-point-something ounces. It's just a pair of women's, oh, some tape stuck to it, women's yoga pants. Women's because, one, I'm tall and skinny, and women's tights, not only are they cheaper and more flexible, but they fit me very well. They stay on my waist when I'm hiking. Women's, medium. I got these from the dollar store, and of course they came in some crazy fucking print. It's really all you need, and you want something that has more than one use. So I do hike in these in the early morning, and then I sleep with them at night. This was another hiker box gift. This is a Yar.gear 3-liter, 16-liter. I don't know what the fuck I'm thinking. 16-liter Yar.gear, little clothes bag, ditty bag, what have you. And that fits my sock, fleece, and base layer bottom. And food bag, I just use a Zpacks food bag. This is what a Zpacks food bag will look like after 5,000 miles. I've used this for 2 years. Great food bag. I will give Zpacks credit for their shelters, and their food bags are great. And this is made out of Dyneema. The Velcro is still intact. You can see it's just ripping and getting caught on the Velcro, but it works. I'll use this on another through hike until it busts. And then this is my electronics bag. As far as electricity goes and power goes, I use either a 10,000 megahertz Anker battery, which I will use on the AT or ECT, Florida Trail, all those East Coast trails. I will use this because the food carriers will not be long. I have a USB to C to charge my GoPro, a USB to charge my headlamp, and this is also the USB-C to charge my anchors a little bit quicker. And then also a iPhone cord. I carry one extra GoPro battery. I carry a high megahertz AUKEY charging port. AUKEY, AUKEY. This is a great company that makes lightweight charging ports. Check them out on Amazon. And also a PETZL BINDI headlamp. This is a great LED headlamp. I've caught many eyes night hiking with this headlamp. I highly recommend an LED, rechargeable, no AAAs, and extremely lightweight. By far the lightest headlamp that I could find on Amazon for an affordable rate. And then I carry an extra SD card. And then let's get into the Fanny. The Fanny Pack will carry my just my extra little fixins, which would be my BRS stove, cell phone, some ointment, some dip, allergy pills, an SD card reader, a lighter, eye drops, silicone wax container, a little stainless steel metal container, all proof, sunscreen, and toenail clippers. I have no blister treatment. I don't get blisters ever since I switched to Injinji and continue to walk in the off season. I have golden feet at this point. Really, I would say the trick to eliminating blisters is get a fucking real hiking trail shoe. Get some $17 to $20 socks, whether they be Injinji or the toe socks. I recommend toe socks if you're getting blisters in between your toes. That is obviously due to separation of toes being non-existent. I'll get into this later in another video, but basically the anatomy of our shoe, or excuse me, the anatomy of our feet changes over time from these tight toe box shoes that we normally wear. So Injinji toe socks will eliminate those blisters beneath the toe, or in between the toes. If you're getting blisters on your heel, that's just from a lack of not tying your heel lock, boom, which will lock the heel in place. As you're striking the foot, you're creating friction, and you'll have a blister that may manifest. Yeah, so BRS stove, lightest stove I could find on Amazon. It was like $14.99, I believe. Look at that. Super small, super minimal. I've used one of these for over 2,000 miles until I like sat on it and it bent the hell out of it. Never had any problems. I tend to get very stoned on trail and often boil over my coffee nearly every morning as I turn away and get ready and packing things up. When you boil this over, it still fires up. I've boiled over coffee with the what are they called, pocket rockets, and they get all caked up and you got to take the thing apart and clean it to get it going again. As well as a totes cup for my cooking system, just a small 750 milliliter titanium cup. Of course, you got to keep some medicinals, some herb, homegrown preferably. Grow your own if you're on a budget. I also have a plastic yogurt spoon. I've had this from Yogurtland for over a year. I use this. I will not buy a titanium spoon. I will not spend money on a spoon because I always lose them. So that's my cooking system. And then another key thing on trail is diet. I do a lot of supplements, pre-workout, protein, BCAAs, keep those muscles rejuvenated. MSM and glucosamine for the joints and inflammation, and then a daily vitamin, and I also take moringa. Supplements, I've noticed as I've taken supplements, I wake up, no matter what kind of day I've had the day prior, I wake up fired up and ready to hike. Another piece of gear that goes along with my sleeping system that I forgot to mention was the Zpacks extension pole. I again am 6'4", so I need this to stake my tent a little bit higher, and I have plenty of room. This weighs 1 ounce or 2 ounce. And then tent stakes and trowel. Excuse me. I use the Deuce of Spades, little mini guy. I got this gifted to me by a guy named Cleveland on the PCT. Lightweight, it's all you need. I use baby wipes, no TP around here. Gotta get all that mess up. And tent stakes, I just use the Zpacks shepherd hooks. These are extremely lightweight. I've used them for over 5,000 miles. And I have 10 of those, or excuse me, 9 of those. And then 1 big titanium front stake. I use a little bit larger of a front stake just so that front stake and other stakes do not pop out in extreme weather conditions. One more piece of gear that I forgot to mention is an ANKER 20,000 megahertz battery. This is a fairly larger battery that I used on the CDT. Charge this and I could be out for 5 to 6 days, have plenty of charging power from my phone, headlamp, Garmin, and GoPro. The Garmin, I use a Garmin InReach. I do not have it on me. I have not been hiking with it. I did not hike the AZT with it, and I do not plan to hike the AT with it, just because it's not remote, and I personally feel very comfortable with my hiking ability. However, I do recommend carrying an InReach or some sort of satellite device where in dire need of emergency, you can contact help and have that right away. Other than that, what I use to filter my water on trail, honestly, I thought these were pieces of shit bags when I hiked the PCT, but I was quite new to hiking and very rough on a lot of my gear. But I've been using this for over 500 miles on the AZT. It's extremely light. And then I use a Sawyer Filter, and I hook that up, good to go. The Sawyer Filters I recommend. These are great filters. I've used these for up to 1,000 miles plus. And if they get clogged or frozen, you can save them by reviving them in hot water. Heat up some hot water, let it cool down, not at a boiling point, but warm. Let it bleed in there. And you could also back flush these filters, treat them, soak them in bleach, 2 drops of bleach and some water. Back flush it with the back flushing device that comes sold with this device. And I've never had any problems with it. Only thing, you need to sleep with your filters on cold nights. If it is below 40 degrees, I highly recommend sleeping with this in your pocket or rolled up in your sleeping bag, maybe in a sock, to keep these filters from freezing. Basically, the main core of this filter will freeze in very low temps. Other than that, I have a CDT buff that I use for sweat or windy days, cold days, to keep my head warm. And I have been using just 2 Fiji 1.5 liters to carry a total of 3 liter capacity. On the AT, ECT, etc., I will not be carrying any more than this. I'll probably even be carrying 2 Gatorade bottles. Just due to water being plentiful and water carries being very minimal. So yeah, that is it. Most, if not all of this gear I used on the CDT. The only thing that I did use that I will not be using on the East Coast is this 20,000 megahertz ANKER battery, and also this new pack. I had a Hyperlight Wind Rider pack. It weighs 2 pounds. I got it in black to get the more heavy duty Dyneema. Great pack. The CDT just kind of broke down the pack quite a bit, and I was in a position with REI to return it before that year manufacturer warranty was up. So I took advantage of that, got my money back, hit up Yar.gear. He had this scrap pack, this gentleman again out of Tennessee. It was the only pack he made, so I got this for $200. Extremely happy with it. Can't wait to try it out on a long distance hike. I would recommend the Hyperlight Wind Rider. Great pack, as well as the Southwest. Hyperlight definitely has authenticity in their product. Other than that, that is all my gear that I'll be using for my future East Coast hikes. I do plan on getting back on the AZT. Possibly next year, or maybe even section hiking it. I have about 240 miles left, and I could either section hike it with work coming up, or come next year I can hike it prior to my future hikes. And yeah, I just want to thank everybody for being so supportive on this channel. I just want to get everybody a true glimpse of through hiking, what it's actually about, what you may go through, and shed some light on gear. I noticed a lot of YouTube vloggers sugarcoat a lot of their gear and their opinion on the gear that they use, and I typically think that's due to receiving discount codes and being a brand ambassador. You're not going to say anything negative about any sort of hiking company that's giving you free shit. So yeah, thank y'all for watching. Again, thank you so much for all the support. I cannot say that enough. And if you have not subscribed yet, it is free. I do not run ads. This account is completely free. I'm not here to exploit my hiking experience. Please hit the subscribe button if you have not now, and share it with your friends and family. Thank y'all for watching.